Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into the HeroesCCL pre-show presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Justing, and we had a lot of great games in our double elimination semifinals weekend, and we are here to break down all that is HeroesCCL. So Justing, can we jump immediately into this 30k versus Storm Esports Alterac pass moment?
Yeah, let's get into it. So Storm Esports in a situation down 2 keeps, about to be down a 3rd keep. This is where 30k with the objective pushing is going to be looking to close out the series. So they begin with the passive from Sylvanas onto the keep. They're not really getting a ton of siege here. The engage is a little bit flubbed, but Laubert really deep in the front line has to jump away. You have Liam uncharacteristically dying first on the Hogger. So now 4 versus 5, 30k still has the objective and they want to remain aggressive. They know that once they get that bottom keep down, the core is going to be very squishy on the side of Storm Esports, but they also remember Dragonshire, where they kind of threw on core, so they're going to try to not repeat that mistake. They just choose to just all in the core. It gets very low. They start going down a bit. Yasu's going to go down first. The members are dropping very fast on 30k. It's a 5 for 0. It looks like Storm can maybe hold here, but you have the Cavalier from the objective coming in bot to actually just barely finish the game off for them. So slightly dodging a reenactment of their Dragonshire and against Storm, 30k does manage to close out the series 3-1.
It was a strong series for 30k, and luckily the Cavalry did arrive through that bottom lane to end the game for them, otherwise it would have been a very awkward moment on Alterac Pass. Continuing into our mini-series from the weekend, we saw Simplicity go up against Wildheart Esports, and I gotta say here, Justing, on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Wildheart looks like a team that is almost impossible to beat when they get a Stitches.
Yeah, Tremor on Stitches is extremely scary, and he's actually going to start the clip off with a hook onto Mene around the bot objective. Simplicity down level 20s, but they still opt to fight. Tremor immediately goes for the Gorge onto Maiev. He gets her in a really awkward situation here. Masquerade's going to go for the D-Shield just hardly in time, but now Masquerade's the target. It gets pulled back. They're jumping into bunker. Watch Mason Blaze. He uses the Unstoppable to preemptively potentially dodge a Mene Fear. He does end up not being the target of that. Mene now a little bit too overextended, and this whole fight, Mason Blaze is just pumping out damage. Diving onto the backline with Tremor, unaverted, kind of in a bad spot here on the Maiev, fighting for his life, but Wildheart, with their level 20 advantage, is able to push it to the max, get the 5 for 0, and go and end the game.
Wildheart would be able to close out that series 3-1 up against Simplicity, and Wildheart would move into the upper bracket finals, going up against 30k, and I was talking, Justing, about how great Tremor was on his Stitches, but let's not forget Bad Benny on his Diablo on this Infernal Shrines clip.
Yeah, Tremor's not the only tank in town here. As you see, Wildheart was down 3 levels at this point, down 20 to 17, defending against the Punisher in the top lane. This is a very tough feat. You have Bad Benny immediately blinking in onto the backline with the arrow. Dino flies forward into the backline, hits the big silence arrow, and immediately Anduin will go down. So now they're 4v5 down the level 20 talent tiers, trying their best, but as soon as Blaze comes out of the bunker, he's immediately yoinked back in, and 30k thriving in this position. In a 5 versus 3, they decide to push the mid keep so that they get more minions in from the mid lane. They have all their waves pushing, and this is where they decide to go for core, but Bad Benny has decided that he's actually not done yet. He still has his APOC, so while the members of Wildheart try to go into Liam, Bad Benny re-engages, hits the APOC combo, gets the level 16 reset onto the Stitches, and just like that, 30k is able to close out the game with a 4-level lead.
There's a 4-level lead and a 3-1 shutdown for 30k as they would move into our grand finals slot with a 1-game advantage in that best-of-7 series. As we drop down into our lower bracket, Justing, we saw Storm Esports go up against Simplicity, and I'm going to spoil it a little bit here. We got 2 amazing clips, so let's immediately jump into Towers of Doom because this seemed like a heroic moment for Storm Esports in the series.
Yeah, Storm Esports was down 1-2 in the series at this point, but this game they were making a big comeback. They did not want to end the series just quite yet. They only need 1 altar here of the top 2 altars in order to end the game. It's 20 shots to 3. So they'll easily be able to secure it if they get it. So this is a difficult situation for Simplicity. They have Zagara cap theirs while the rest stall. So they have a 4v5 occurring on the left side, just trying to stall that objective as long as possible. You have a huge arrow coming out from Rutzo on the Hanzo, but he becomes the target. This is where Simplicity tries to make their stand, but a nice stun by Dequaza is just what they need to set up the fight. And BBJ just starts popping off in this fight, running down unaverted on the Chromie, gets the solo kill in the backline, and 3 members down. it's impossible to defend the objective cap now from Retzo. Well played by Storm Esports to be able to win in this awkward team composition against the poke comp from Simplicity.
And Simplicity versus Storm would then go to a game number 5. And of course, our final clip, our top clip of the weekend is going to be from that game 5, because this was a critical moment for both of these teams around Control Point C on Volskaya Foundry. And Justing, if you could break down how this went.
This clip is the Mene and Unaverted show. Look on the minimap and look at how Mene and Unaverted on the Hanzo and the Tracer are positioning here. Storm expects the entire team of Simplicity to be down on this objective, and they're really far forward. As soon as BBJ steps up, he immediately gets arrowed by himself in the backline, instantly jumped on by Unaverted, and IBTings, also not long for this world, just stuck in the backline, getting flanked by both the ranged coming out from Mene and Unaverted. And immediately just 3 members down. Lauber completely out of position to peel for his team. They try to kill Mene, but he's got the fancy footwork. He hops over the wall. And just really well played by Simplicity to be able to flank the backline using their range, something that Storm definitely wasn't prepared for. And just really good heads-up play coming out from the ranged damage dealers of Simplicity.
Simplicity would close out that series at the end right there, as you saw that Triglaw Protector walking through bottom lane in a 3-2 way, pushing the members of Storm Esports into 4th place for HeroesCCL Season 3. Getting into our Grand Finals Playday, our final Playday of HeroesCCL Season 3, we are going to be starting the day out with Simplicity versus Wildheart Esports, the winner of that going up against 30k. And of course, Justing, what are your thoughts on the matchup of Simplicity versus Wildheart?
So I'm surprised that Simplicity managed to take down Storm, which was seemingly everyone's favorite coming out of the gauntlet, but they did take them down 3-1, and so now Wildheart a little bit surprised and concerned themselves, potentially prepping for a Storm matchup had they lost to 30k. So Simplicity, really kind of the wildcard team once again, like the story has been in Season 1 and 2, really trying to make their attempt to rise up through the lower bracket. So Wildheart's going to have their work cut out for them. It'll be interesting to see stylistically how Wildheart can compete with their really combo-based compositions against Simplicity that has seemed to win their games through just creating chaos on the backline.
It's going to be a very interesting matchup. That is going to be a best of 5 to determine who goes up against 30k. And of course, Justing, who do you think will go up against 30k? Because I'm feeling like Wildheart could do it, but Simplicity, as you were saying, they are a little bit of an innovator and a chaos creator in their own right.
I think Wildheart should have the advantage in the matchup. They've done better recently just with their combo-based comps. The only team that they've lost to is 30k, and no one in recent days has been able to take down the Titan that is 30k. So Wildheart would be my favorite going into it. They seem really coordinated and just they function extremely well as a unit when they're on, and I think that might be something that in the rematch between Wildheart and Simplicity is going to likely favor Wildheart.
Alrighty, well, we got a lot of great games on HeroesCCL. It's going to be an exciting day of matches. Thanks for joining Justing and I for the HeroesCCL pre-show. If you think we missed anything or are there any better clips out there, by all means, leave a comment below, add us on Twitter, bug us on Discord. You know how to get to us on the internet. We've got a lot of other great channels for HeroesCCL content: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram for a lot of educational and fun clips and content. Thank you as always for joining us for the pre-show. We look forward to more in the future. Until then, I've been Bahamut, joined by Justing, and we'll see you in the Nexus.